The entire ordeal is at the center of the latest battle between the Trump administration and Congress after the acting director of national intelligence, Joseph Maguire, overruled the inspector general's determination that the complaint was of urgent concern.
Let's stop right there. Elise, the inspector general of the intel community said this was of, quote, urgent concern, that the president's conversation, his promise to a foreign leader, was of, quote, urgent concern. The independent inspector general said that, and that Congress should be made aware of this conversation that was of, I will say again, the word, quote, the phrase urgent concern.
And the acting attorney general, the acting head of the intelligence community, the DNI, doesn't think it's of such concern that needs to be taken a look at. I mean, this is not the first time that the president has had a terrible relationship with the intelligence community. He's disrespected the intelligence community. He has questioned their judgment. That, was one of the reasons that led to the resignation of DNI Dan Coats. And he, at every turn, has done this. And I've spoken to officials, former officials in the intelligence community, current officials. It's not the first time that officials have had a real problem with some of the conversations when they read the readouts of this president.
Well, and David Ignatius, of course, most famously the president of the United States in early 2017, had the foreign minister of Russia who was sitting there smiling like a Cheshire cat for a good reason, and Russia's ambassador to the United States listened to the president inside the White House, where he had banned American press from coming in, but allowed Russians to come in, probably with listening devices, and actually spilled intel to the Russian foreign minister. I mean, this happens a good bit. In this case, though, I mean, this has gone again. This has gone to the inspector general in this whistleblower case, and he said it's of urgent concern. What the president said to this foreign leader, what the president promised his foreign leader, was of such foreign concern that Congress and the oversight committees had to know about it. And yet, it's being killed. Do you have any idea what the nature of the conversation was, David?
Joe, we're going to have in a moment one of our Washington Post reporters, Shane Harris, who wrote a very important piece, which is as much as we know. According to this article, this involves a promise that allegedly was made by President Trump to some foreign national that was so worrisome to somebody in the intelligence community who became aware of it that it seems in early August they made a report to the Inspector General, Michael Atkinson. That troubled Atkinson so much that within a month later, he reported that allegation, that IG issue that was of urgent concern, to the head of the House Intelligence Committee, Schiff, Adam Schiff. So there are a couple things to focus on. What was it that was said, that was taken as a promise, that was so upsetting? I'll let Shane go through the list of possibilities, but they're the ones you'd think. Putin, Kim Jong-un are the top of the list. What was it that made Michael Atkinson, the Inspector General, so troubled that he felt he absolutely had a reporting obligation? And what happened to intervene to prevent discussion by Joseph Maguire, the acting director of national intelligence, before the congressional committee? There are a series of questions, and when you come to the end of that, it looks to me as if the Trump administration is deliberately seeking to undo the rules that have bounded U.S. intelligence activities basically since the Watergate and intelligence scandals of the 70s. It's a big deal.
We're going to get to Shane in 1 second, but Elise.
I think what David said is the key. Why is the acting attorney, acting DNI, stonewalling this? Why doesn't he want to let Congress know about this? That is the real key. What are they What are they hiding?
What are they covering up? Is the
Yeah,
question.
no, I agree.
It is a cover-up.
Well, it is totally a cover-up, and I think the obvious issues of intelligence and what went on between Trump and this foreign leader are central to this, but so is the relationship between the White House and the Congress, of which this is yet just another example of the White House essentially refusing to follow normal procedures, law, separation of powers, and the rights of Congress to know what's going on here.
Well, the question is, what are the Republicans thinking on the Hill? Are the Republicans curious at all about the Inspector General,
They better
an
be.
independent Inspector
guys.
General, saying that what the president said was so deeply troubling that they need to be made aware of it?
We won't hold our breath, will we, knowing what we know about Republicans
Yeah.
in Congress?
Well, knowing that Moscow Mitch is not even protecting American democracy from the Kremlin, when Republicans now, former conservatives like Grover Norquist are now coming out, the Trumpists are coming out and saying, you have to protect our democracy.
But put aside Moscow Mitch, where is Lindsey Graham? Where is
all of them?
Tom Cotton? Where are the people who say that they're most focused on the integrity of the U.S. and
That is
defense
right.
of our
Where are
In the
they?
middle of this whole issue with Iran and Saudi Arabia, and the
God.
president is asking the international community to trust the intelligence, at the same time he's disregarding U.S.
Undermining
intelligence. I mean, this is really a key time for U.S. intelligence.
All right, let's bring in Shane Harris of the Washington Post. He covers intelligence and national security, and as David said, he's one of the authors of this extraordinary piece. First of all, Shane, wow. Even in the age of Trump, we can say wow, because this is something we've not seen. Let's talk about the possibilities here, about who the President of the United States may have been talking to, who he may have made this promise to. A lot of people looking at a July 31st phone call from the President to Vladimir Putin. As we look back on it, the readout from the White House that day was that President Trump was calling to express concern and to offer help with Siberian wildfires, which even in real time struck a lot of people as odd. Again, we don't know what the call is, but what are the possibilities here?
Well, that certainly has to be, I think, probably near the list. I mean, given the president's interactions with Russian officials in the past and the divulging of sensitive and classified information, the president talks to a lot of foreign leaders. And I think one of the important things to key in on here is that whoever made this complaint, we've reported previously, is an intelligence community official who worked at the National Security Council. A lot of people get assigned over there for some time, and then made this complaint. And why I emphasize that is I don't think that you're probably talking about somebody who saw the president doing something that was not significant. These are usually fairly experienced people. They're well versed in what the rules are. And by the way, people who would know that the president can divulge classified information to whomever he wants, and of course has done that before. So while we don't know precisely what this allegation centers on, I have to think it is something that's significant. As you pointed out, the Inspector General thinks it's significant. And we have to think about the source. The person who would have seen this or would have been aware of this would have well understood by this point President Trump's proclivities with foreign leaders, his handling of classified information, and yet still saw something here that he or she felt needed to go to this independent watchdog.
So, Shane, the term here is urgent concern, used by the Inspector General. And that's not just his personal characterization. That's a legal threshold that when something reaches urgent concern, he has to reach out to the intelligence committees, he has to reach out to Congress. What falls under that threshold? What may he have seen or heard that thought, you know what, I've got to push this to Congress now?
The statute talks about flagrant abuse of power. It talks about illegal acts. Obviously, there's a lot of acts that aren't illegal for the president, that are illegal for other people. Classified information sharing, he can do that. But I think this flagrant abuse of power is a key piece.
Because, Shane, you made this point in the piece. I've heard other people make this point. It's important for people that are just waking up and listening to this. This is not about the president doing something reckless, like sharing intel from other countries to Foreign Minister Lavrov.
Or bragging.
He can do that. He shouldn't do it, but he has the ability to blurt out highly classified information. That would not meet this threshold of urgent concern. This is something actually worse, something that the IG suspected might be illegal, which prompted the, quote, urgent concern.
Well, I don't think we know that the IG thought it might be illegal, but I think that your deduction, Joe, is right. This is not something in the category of things we've seen the president do. Frankly, he tweeted a highly classified satellite image, just a few weeks ago. We've seen those kinds of things. Inspector generals are aware of those kinds of things. And to your point, you're right. That isn't illegal. The president can do that. So whatever he did or is alleged to have done here falls into some different category, possibly in this statutory definition of flagrant abuse of power. Enough so that the IG thought that Congress needed to know about it. They don't know the substance of the allegation, by the way. That's very important. They know it happened, but they are still in the dark like the rest of us about the details.
Wow.
All right.